because we've seen how itemization on Mars that also has changed a little bit, where before you'd go like straight blink dagger, right? Or you go like phase Vlads, but now people are going for like a Yules or that first aura, and then going for blink when they're kind of getting to that 20-25 minute mark instead.
Yeah. We're talking a lot about what they picked. We came into the draft just a little bit too late. The bans are also very significant when it comes to these two teams. You can see the Lone Druid obviously banned out by Viking GG, that's Koikwa, that's Team Liquid. But I want to mention the Sven. I think this hero has always been the answer to Jug. Like that's the way to play versus Jug. You pick the Sven, you farm faster than him, you have that built-in cleave. You force the Jug to either think about playing in a very aggressive way with the item builds or to match your farming speed with Battle Fury. And both of those things can fail. Like if your Battle Fury is too late, Sven out-farms you. If you go for the early aggression item builds, Sven still out-farms you if you don't do enough early on.
Does Viking just not go like Undying here against the double strength 4 lane? You
Or
really
Timbersaw, maybe?
So basically, Timbersaw is like a trap card where anyone looking at draft, they go, oh, 3-4 strength heroes, let's go for Timbersaw. But then you still miss out on the fundamentals of how we actually win in the game. Like, sure, we get to pressure here, but...
No, Undying sounds great, but it looks like Viking GG, they're going back to the Wisp strats.
Okay.
This is usually, from them at least, a support Wisp. I haven't seen them play it as a core yet. Maybe I missed the game, but I think it's most exclusively been a support.
It has been a support, yeah.
So now, not only do you have this Jug to deal with the egg, you have Wisp that's able to relocate targets out of the arena, and you have Wisp that's going to be overcharging a target and attacking that egg together with it. So you have some pretty neat things here. Sadly for Viking, they've banned out the Darkseer themselves, who would have been such an amazing pickup with the Wisp and the Tiny.
I'm quickly doing some research. I want to find out if any of the Viking players have played IO Core in their pubs real quick in the last day or two, just to, you know.
They played it, core players, yeah. I'm not sure. Not sure about core players, but OG have played it, obviously, and people are picking up. Okay, so Team Liquid, they follow up with a Bane. This is your Insania to-go hero. Wait just a second, Spirit Breaker as well. Okay, still Tiny, most likely the core, but going back to the Bane, this is one of those heroes that you want to play with Wisp, right? But when you're playing against him, it can come in handy pretty well. Plus you have that BKB piercing ultimate grip versus the Juggernaut.
What is it about the Bane and IO that you like together typically?
So when you're playing Wisp and Bane, you have this setup across the map. You can sleep into relocate or grip into relocate. So taking that away is pretty neat. But also having the Bane against something like that can be pretty solid. You can sleep one target, grip the other, which isn't that bad at all.
I'm just really afraid for Liquid right now, where we've seen Viking time and time again, where they have these super aggressive heroes flooding the map non-stop. The Spirit Breaker, look at it less as a hero that has instant impact, but more in the early 10-15 minute marks. His charges, they connect, you force that one TP up, you open up the map for that core in the side lane to still farm because there's less pressure. So it's just such a way in which they play the Spirit Breaker, which opens up the game. And Liquid, now they have a Void Spirit. The rest of the heroes aren't really that good at reacting quickly around the map, and they're very slow. They like to play big fights, but if they take skirmishes, I feel like these guys are going to be very locked into their cooldowns.
Yeah, and Viking GG, they're completely about skirmishes. When you look at these four heroes, that's exactly what they want to be doing constantly. Team Liquid's draft looks slow.
It does.
Like T Governor said, it looks slow and it looks easily stretched apart the map.
But still scary once it gets to its point, right?
I would say still scary, but has less room to make mistakes.
So you mentioned that there's a variety of ways that you can itemize on a Juggernaut. Seeing as now we see that it's going to be paired with an IO, seeing as how Viking most likely want to take advantage of the cooldown dependency and kind of slowness of Team Liquid. Are you expecting to see a Battle Fury Juggernaut, or you want something more combat-oriented?
I'm not
all-out
expecting
fight.
that.
Okay,
all-out
so
fight,
Sange and Yasha maybe?
Yeah, pretty much. Just fight early on. You don't really have to go for that late game potential. Let's still see what the last pick will be from Team Liquid. That might switch things up a little bit when it comes to the item build. because that's what you're looking for most of the time. It's not only your hero, it's who you're
Right, and we're
matching
looking
up
for
against,
a
yeah.
Mike one-position carry on the side of Liquid, who will be trying to go head-to-head versus the Juggernaut in the late game. Which you had mentioned the Sven, which has been banned out, actually.
Yeah, Sven is banned out, that's true.
What
Spectre, AM, Sven, Void, Lone Druid, everything. What's left? Terrorblade
Liquid Morphling
and
as well.
Morphling, exactly, like for Mike, those two heroes.
But again, these heroes still aren't good under the amount of pressure that Viking have. It's good for that kind of 25-minute timing when they kind of survive. Oh, there's Morphling. Yay.
It's two heroes, literally, that Mike plays that are left in the pool. Like that you see
Heads
from
or
them.
tails.
Yeah, that you
Morphling.
see them picking. I like the Morph a bit more than the TB as well. I think it's pretty solid. Maybe TB would give you that extra tower pushing capabilities early on, which they're lacking. Like when it comes to taking objectives, Team Liquid is going to struggle. They need to take good fights, eliminate Viking GG, and then take objectives.
Yeah, exactly that. I think if what you want to look out for is simply how does Liquid react to that early aggression? Can they actually defend the correct towers with enough force that they can push away Vikings for long enough that their spells come back up? If they can do that for like 20 or so minutes, then I think they're in a good shot. Their draft is scary, but
This Vikings draft just looks like it counters Team Liquid at its essence. Like the way they drafted, it just looks so solid. Now I still value Team Liquid as the better team out of the two, the team that has had more history, that has proven themselves versus tier 1 teams multiple times in a row, while Viking GG, they're still upcomers. They only recently just qualified here. Still though, when it comes to draft, Viking GG, they've got what it takes.
There are often times, though, whenever you go for a fast-paced draft that you can't afford to make very many mistakes. How much room for error does Viking have in this draft?
well, it all boils down to can they kill the Morphling? Because they don't really actually have the heroes to blow him up. They're relying mainly on Boom on the mid-tiny, potentially, to have a really standout game and just catch the Morphling off. If the Morphling gets to his items, then he can pretty much like 1v9 this game just from playing behind the amount of damage that Liquid will be able to soak up in these fights. So
even though the draft is Viking favored, given competitive history, unsurprisingly, EGB.com odds favoring Liquid. You'd be hard pressed to go against that, but still, things are looking good for Viking.
Yeah, they really are, and you can say that Morphling is the ultimate win condition in this game, but there are ways that you can itemize on the side of Viking GG later on, perhaps a Skadi on this Jug that can work out well for them. You have some catch, right, in the form of Spirit Breaker and Tiny, but is it enough catch for the Morphling? I wouldn't say so. Can you execute well and make it work? You can.
And Liquid has the wave clear to be able to, if the game is difficult and they need to go for recovery mode, they have the heroes to keep those waves pushed out and play across the map without needing to always react instantly to Vikings aggression. So I think Liquid have the mechanisms to keep themselves in the game long enough to get into it. And I think it's going to be a pretty close game.
Well, then let's see if a Viking can pull off a game 1 upset as we start the day and send it over to the casters.
Thank you very much, Tsunami. Yes, Viking GG up against Team Liquid. I'm Pixel here with Fog. We've just seen the drafts, as sort of pointed out by the panel there. A lot of counter picks from Viking GG. Does that necessarily mean that their draft is better, though?
Man. I'm just seeing like no team fight on the side of Viking, which really concerns me, especially with the way that we've seen most of these games played. It tends to come down to those big team fights rather than just going for these pickoff things. However, Viking, they did draft very fast tempo, very quick pickoffs, and lane dominance. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing them do, because I think if they make too many mistakes in the laning phase, I don't see them winning team fights versus Liquid, and then I see two elusive cores versus some tough heroes to actually catch them, right? Void Spirit and that Morphling versus like Spirit Breaker and Tiny. If they get ahead on Spirit Breaker Tiny, maybe you can catch, but if they start falling behind, very hard to kill those two heroes.
Sure. Definitely a lot of heroes coming out from Viking that they're very familiar with, right? This is a team that they do like running this IO. The Spirit Breaker, for example, still playing with the Jug, a carry that some other teams will try and stray away from. And even in this draft, we saw the confidence picking it as early as the second pick in the draft. So they're going to be very comfortable. At the same time, that pick towards the end from Liquid, the classic Mickey Morphling, does it look like a game where a few slip-ups from Viking, this Morph's just going to be able to win the late?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He's versus Spirit Breaker IO as the two supports, right? So it's very tough. They can itemize in order to deal with him, but even then, their toolkit naturally is very weird versus Morphling, right? Like if Spirit Breaker gets a quick, like let's say a Vessel, or he gets like Halberd and stuff like this, it can mess with the Morphling, but that's never going to change the fact that this Morphling doesn't have to play versus a Silence or any of these quick stuns that get on top of him. You can see when Spirit Breaker's charging you. You can see when Spirit Breaker's ulting you for the most part in a lot of the situations. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see how it turns out. I think that Liquid's also, this is like comfort, right? They have Mickey on Morphling.
Mickey Morph.
They have Boxy on Mars.
Boxy
they
Mars.
have Taiga on Phoenix. These guys, this is kind of things that they've played a million times over and over again. Even when Mars was dead, Boxy's like, give me Mars! And even though they'd lose it, they'd still ask for the Mars anyway. So, yeah, very comfortable picks for them. And I mean, it's strong.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how the team fights do go down, as you say. On paper, the team fight potential of the heroes, it's definitely favoured by the Liquid lineup. But the counters could shake it up enough. You know, you do have these two heroes, the Jug
the Spin
and the Mirana.
Yep.
They can find themselves in position where they can sort of maneuver around what usually is a great protection for the egg, the Mars Arena, and still take that egg down. So, you know, even though they have that strong team fight on paper, we could see Viking GG mess that up each time.
Yep. And okay, so core Mirana for Toby. So their cores are Mirana, Tiny, and Jug. So like we were saying, fast pace. This is really just all about brute force aggression. And with Aramis playing a Spirit Breaker, he's one of, I think he's actually like one of the best Spirit Breakers I've seen in the last 12 months or so. Most people kind of just feed on this hero. He's had some pretty good showings on it. So I'm interested to see what they can make happen of.
Yeah, no, for sure. And in particular, the offlane Mirana, like Toby on that Mirana, are there really any other teams playing offlane Mirana at the moment?
No, I've seen here and there, right?
Yeah.
Like here and there, there's been like, oh wow, like I think it was like Forev like, when we were casting some tournaments. Oh, Forev's playing a random Mirana offlane, but it wasn't anything like, oh, Mirana offlane's hot now.
Here we go. I'm going to have the setup for the first blood here as Insania has been caught out.
Oh, they didn't give it to their Tiny. They should have. He threw the tree for it.
Oh no, Toby there with a kill steal.
Good start. I mean, exactly what they need to be doing. Playing very, very aggressive, hyper aggressive. First good move by them. 2 sentries bought right at the start here by Liquid. Not something you see too often, but you can see that they want to ensure that the lanes can at least go decent for them. So blocking the pull camp bottom, they're going to be running a relatively aggro lane, and then checking out for that mid ward.
Yeah, we'll see what sort of lane matchups they're going to get. At the moment, Mickey is going to be starting top in that safe lane. And up there, we're going to have Toby farming against him as the Mirana. Down bottom, Boxy alongside Tiger, that Mars Phoenix, going to do their best to try and pressure the farm of the Jug early on. I mean, down here, the Jug, he shouldn't die against these heroes, right? He's always going to have the Blade Fury to live. And if anything, you know, dive in the wrong place or Boxy getting a little too close after, especially like the level 3s hit 2 points in Blade Fury, they've got a little bit of kill potential, Viking GG.
Absolutely, that's what we were saying. Like, they drafted for their lanes, right? This top lane can put pressure on too. Bane, he's the king of lanes, as we always say, king of those dual lanes. But they have a Morphling in the lane too, who's it can be a bit weak at the first few levels, especially versus these 2 aggressive heroes. So yeah, I'm liking the way they set up their lanes, and they got them set up for the time being. I don't think Liquid's really going to change or adapt anything, because I think they're okay with these lanes too. It's not amazing for them, but it's not bad. They're still going to get farm. Taiga's going to start pulling the wave bottom so that it's not Mars playing in the face of a Jug IO.
No, I'll be interested to see what sort of item build Toby goes for on the offlane Mirana. Like, as a core, are you going for the right click? I mean, or do you start to build up those auras? Because the thing is, you do have an IO, right? So eventually, Soleri can be the one that gets the mech.
Whoa, mid. Oh my god, is he just dead? Oh.
That Remnant nearly brought him down, but not quite getting the connection quite for still, though. Heavy pressure on Boom, and he's only down to his last pull tango, still on cooldown for 25 seconds. So, not dying, but still very low now and having to keep a good distance away from quite for bottom lane. Shad and Soleri bringing Boxy rather low, but Boxy's fine. He's kitted out for this. Still has 4 tangos to roll in the lane.
Oh no, Boom in mid though. He got double creep waved, and look at the denies. Koikfa is just destroying the lane off of the first two levels already. That is a big problem already. And bottom too, I think they got the spear. They're going for the kill onto Shad.
Oh, he hasn't got Blade Fury. He's already used it in that earlier bit of a fight that went on.
Look at the positioning of the lane that Liquid's kind of forced here because of this. And now they're denying experience away from the tower too. Big moves here from Liquid in that mid and bottom lane. I can't believe what happened in mid. I'd have to see the level 1 again and what happened with the block, because it looked like Koikfa must have just gotten a better block and just able to nuke and double up the creep wave on the Tiny. And Boom just had to have gotten there late. Just makes it difficult. Aramis Gets the bash. Trying for another. Give it to him.
Oh, Toby trying for the courier.
Nice save.
Yeah, we'll be able to make sure that Mickey's courier is able to walk away. How we doing on the regen? Boom. Digging the bottle out, so back up to full HP with the free charges, and has also got himself a salve ready for any further harassment. But yeah, quite fair. He
hasn't missed the last hit.
Yeah, and he's also seeing full HP, and he's yet to use any of his bottle charges, so in a very good place in that mid matchup. Top lane, so he managed to get the chase down onto Insania. He'll turn with the Nightmare onto Toby, as that will be enough for him to get back underneath the tower. Also has the salve, and playing with the double fairy fires too, so
yeah,
ready to try and bait Viking GG in for diving him.
Oh man, they set themselves up to have some decent lanes, but it does not look like that is happening at all at the moment.
Yeah, Shad's struggling.
That is a concern. As we said, they have to be playing pretty much ahead in this game versus this Liquid draft. Not gonna find Insania either up here.
Yeah, committing with the triple leaps. Not enough to stay on top of the Bane. Insania just outplaying there, keeping himself alive easily with the Fairy Fires. And Mickey's farm continues to look very nice here. 17-9 against Toby's 11-1 in this top lane.
They have not been able to apply pressure, and now this is where Morphling kind of just starts to take over the lane. He's going to hit level 4, and that's where it becomes very difficult. They have to start making some adaptation. So it's going to be around this 4-minute rune timing.
Let's see where the spawn's going to be. It is going to be bottom, so Aramis won't be able to stop Quakefur from getting the refill, and it's that beautiful double damage rune for Quakefur, especially when he's a few waves away from hitting the 6. If he's able to get that Astral Step online with the DD still in the bottle, that is insane kill potential on the Void Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, he can go to any lane.
Yeah.
As soon as he has level 6, I think he can TP top or TP bottom, and anybody's a kill. Even the Jug, if he plays too far up, can get chased down pretty quickly from those double Astrals. Yeah, big starts here for Liquid in this laning phase. I thought that Viking would have a different type of preparation, some type of movements to at least secure their lanes a bit better, but that one death bottom really hurts, and then that mid-wave, that double mid-wave changes everything. Already off to a tough start here. Checking these bounty runes. Looks like this will be the rotation, maybe Boom. Tries to join up with his team here. Tiny Spirit Breaker can set up a lot of kills early on, these two together. If they're able to find the opportunities, though, which is seeming to be difficult.
See down bottom. Celery taking quite the harassment here. Whoa! Oh, Boxy there! Beautiful! Catches him mid-tether as he comes flying across with the arrow.
Uh-oh, mid now too. Boom! He's just dead. Double Astrals with DD.
Yeah, that's going to do it. That sort of DD early on, incredibly potent. Top lane, they're charging onto Mickey. He's under the tower, but
he's fine.
Yeah, these two heroes are just never going to be able to kill the Morphling unless Mickey makes a massive error.
Oh boy, oh, and this might be a rough game for Viking. Off of this laning start falling, it says less than 1k gold behind, but you can just feel how dominant Liquid is being in this lane. Look at their levels, like level 5 on Mars, that carries level 4. Everybody is just having a spectacular start. Level 7 on Void Spirit, level 5 on Tiny.
Down in the river, 6-minute runes up. Again, the spawn's going to be bottom.
Okay.
Does mean that Liquid will be able to control that for themselves, as Quakefur will be able to go and grab it. They're going to try and set up on Aramis first. He's pretty tanky as the Spirit Breaker, so not a kill they'll be able to finish off.
Now has a raindrop as well, so he'll be just fine. Toby top is going to continue laning versus Mickey, but you said Mickey's chilling. He's on full free farm mode. Hasn't really had any pressure onto him at all. He's healing up there, but there is a charge coming through. Maybe they catch him off guard, but pretty unlikely.
And we see, so the build from Toby on the offlane Mirana will be rushing the Spirit Vessel for the team.
Okay. I mean, they do want one. For certain. That'll be the pretty good timing pickup, too, because he's the core hero.
Yeah, and those sort of supports on, or heroes on Liquid's lineup that offer any sort of dispel, so the Vessel charges are going to be strong offensively. I'm just eyeing up Mickey, but again, just such a hard lane for Aramis to try and play into. Chances of catching Mickey low on the HP are already very slim, and anytime that Insania is around, a quick Nightmare just stops the aggression.
I mean, Toby might just die here. Charge is going to come through to try to help. He's got raindrops as well. He'll be okay. Now Aramis, though, taking a beating.
And they get the arrow. And onto Insania. Again, another Fairy Fire will keep Insania alive.
The raindrops. It saves Toby again. Okay.
I mean, they're not dying, at least up here, but still they're not slowing down Mickey's farm.
No.
You continue to see this 7 minutes in all 3 of Liquid's cores. It's as if they haven't even had any contest in the lane. They've just got complete free farm.
And full rune control too. Look at Koikfa, a haste in his bottle. We have another rune spawning in 8 seconds. Just, they have all the freedom in the world. They even get the first D ward there on that high ground in mid. And Koikfa gets another one. They're blessed right now.
Every single rune.
Even the Dota gods are on Liquid's side right now in these first 8 minutes.
Let's see what Koikfa can do with the remaining duration of this
Aramis.
haste. He's already a little low. He's caught out there as he's underneath the vision of that creep coming over to the camp.
And Shad, every time he tries to get a setup onto Taiga, he just quickly dives away. Maybe Boom. This might be a rotation. You can catch Taiga. Oh yeah, this should be a good one for them here.
Let's see what they can do here. They come in with the combo, Viking GG. Get the kill onto Tiger. So some action now being found by Boom with these movements.
I think this is what he has to do. I think just start going full aggressive on the Tiny, just looking to rotate for these kills when people are playing too far up. You have to be careful though, because Void Spirit can match that aggression easily with those Astral Steps, but I do think he has to try to salvage these side lanes a little bit here. Great warding coming out from Team Liquid, very aggressively positioned. You see the bottom wards so that they can watch the movements coming out, and also the wards watching up here. These type of wards are just, anytime you can get wards closer to the enemy base versus Spirit Breaker, you always can just, Aramis charges, you see him charging through these wards, you can see the setup easy. Celery will burn away.
Koikfa is going to come past the tower here. Not really too much you can do to threaten Shad, but Shad just having to play so careful here, hiding behind the tower. Mid lane, Boom and Aramis in onto Insania.
He's got a raindrop.
It's not enough between the two of them. The setup from the Nightmare will be there to skewer a Spirit Breaker right underneath the tower, but still very beefy as the Spirit Breaker, and no damage here to kill him off. Aramis will be able to walk away. Boom tries to come in and find Insania with that last avalanche, but Insania will live.
Oof. Not even able to get the kill on the Bane. 10 minutes. Let's see if they can set up a Rune or Shad. We'll get involved here, Mickey. We'll get the Strength Morph off.
We'll try and run him down a bit, but not really too much hope in trying to commit for this Morphling with these heroes. They just don't have any answer for Mickey right now. Not until at least they have the Spirit Vessel. Then maybe more of an opportunity for them to make those plays.
Maybe some slight, yeah. It's still, like we said, tough. No silences, very limited disables versus a Morphling. It's a really good last pick Morphling game. He had so many plays there. He could have turned into Mirana, could have turned into Jug and spun away, leaps, etc. He was just fine. Boom. Again, looking for Insania.
Insania's got backup though. The wait's there. Boxy's able to walk in, drop the arena down onto the two of them. He spears the Tiny up to the tower. Koikfa's in as well with the Resonant Pulse damage, splitting them apart. Dive forward from the Phoenix as they stay on top of Boom. Boom will get the toss back onto Koikfa. So Celery will go down, but Boom himself, will he lift the Sun Ray? Is it enough? It's not. Boom will get away. They get the kill on Tiger because of that dive attempt with the Sun Ray.
Oh, and Koikfa?
Charge over onto Koikfa. He's low on mana. Viking, they're going to be able to pick up the Void Spray on top of it. They jump forward. Toby, he's looking for Insania. Mickey's going to turn into the Mirana, try and play back into the face of Toby as Toby on the retreat. Mickey back into the Morphling form, beating onto Aramis, but not enough damage from him to get either of these kills. So Viking actually able to punch back relatively hard there. Top lane as well. Omni Slash onto Boxy. Can they finish this kill off? They can't. Boxy's able to turn in time with the spear. The Sunray damage not enough to outdo the heals of Celery. The dive forward is going to be attempted. He goes for the super, but Shad, he just pots the Blade Fury, easily takes down the egg. As Viking GG, they're getting some big kills here as they really start to pull themselves back into this game.
I feel like they're getting handed some kills here from Team Liquid. Taiga twice overplaying his hand, once in the mid lane, then up top. Both of them end up dying. I think they also lost Insania throughout it, and Koikfa. All right, that's
And a tower for Shad.
That brings back everything that kind of happened poorly inside of the laning phase.
Yeah.
They're back in it here with the net worth
Yeah, you
almost
can
entirely.
see it. Yeah, pretty much all of their cores now, even with that of Liquid. Some very nice moves here from Viking, and this is a team you've got to be careful. We've seen this in the past with this squad. Any sort of chance for them to run at you, they're going to do it. They've got the heroes to do so. We're seeing with this Breaker, Tiny, Mirana, they're going to be straight in your face, as Liquid have to be careful at how they sort of stay split up, as dives will be coming in past these tier 1s each and every time Viking sees an opportunity.
Yeah.
There's mid lane. An attempt here towards Insania, but Insania's got quite for a round. Nightmare setup, but instantly taken off. And again, one of the powers of these heroes, Aramis on the Breaker, Boom on the Tiny. These are very high HP heroes early on. The Void Spirits combo, quite for he cannot sort of solo these heroes down. There's too much HP for him to burst through.
Absolutely. And he's actually gone for the Yules build this game. I thought he might go for more of a snowball build, but I guess because they died, maybe it changed some things. I thought maybe he'd go for something like the Orchid for the kills, but looking at bottom, Mickey very alone here.
Shad just going to get bought in by Celery. They've got the control here with the ult into the arrow. 5 heroes upon him. Mickey in a whole lot of trouble. They're trying to head over to help him out, Liquid, but they cannot get here in time.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, they are hitting Liquid hard now, Viking. They say it doesn't matter about the laning stage. We're going to come through in this early mid game and just outplay them, as Liquid getting truly shaken up.
And now because of those few kills, first, bottom.
Let's see if they got enough control though. I mean, Toby has got a lot of HP himself to work with this full Spirit Vessel. 1400 HP Mirana isn't getting soloed through.
There's a Blink Tiny coming too.
They're trying to poke onto Aramis, but they're not getting the skill. Liquid have to bring in more if they want to try and take down these heroes. The TPs are coming in. They've got 4 members down in Liquid, and Viking know that. They're forced a reaction. They'll back away from this and make sure that Liquid don't get the chance to find this fight that they were looking for.
Oh my god. These last few moments, in the last 5 minutes, they picked up a Vessel, they picked up a Blink, and then they also just picked up a mech on the IO. So this has kind of completely changed things for the next upcoming fights, how Liquid is probably going to look at it. I don't think they're going to expect these guys to have this much gold, this much efficient use of their gold as well, right? Look at the net worth of this IO. I think it's, 2,200 or something, 2,300? It's all exactly mech. 2,240. It's literally just his mech all contributed there perfectly. So yeah, a lot more factors that Liquid needs to worry about, and now this Jug, he's taking control of that top net worth. Huge moves from Viking.
Boxy, he's going to get caught out. Boom's in with a blink. Boxy is going to try and run, but the charge is in. Boxy will turn, be able to spear them back, and does have Insania by his side. He's having to use the arena to get away, but Aramis, he jumps in with the ultimate. Boxy, can he survive it? Boom needs to get one more hit, and then the Avalanche is back up. They get the kill. They'll cut down Insania as well. As Liquid, they're really starting to struggle. They are just getting outplayed in every single event over the last 5 minutes. They had a great laning stage. Their 3 cores far ahead, but now they're falling apart. The combo's in onto Quaitfer. Mickey trying to zip in, turns into Tiny to let combo boom. They've already finished off Quaitfer. The Omni Slash comes out onto Mickey. Aramis and Toby pushing it back. The arrow's in onto this Morphling. The 4 of them surround him. Mickey is dead. And Liquid, what is happening? They are getting smashed here by Viking in every single move.
Holy moly. Viking is just outmaneuvering, outclassing, outnumbering them in every single occasion. They kill bottom, they have, I think, relocate. They're moving so quick around the map. With this charge, with this Mirana, they're using their mobility at its finest and not letting Liquid kind of group up and fight, right? Liquid wants to be able to utilize Mars and Phoenix ulti. They want to be able to have Quaitfer jumping in and starting the fights, but they're the ones actually getting gone on.
And you can see in the graphs that the whole sort of laning phase was just, very comfortably for Liquid, building up in their favor. And then bam, Vikings start making these moves up and down the map. And it's too fast for Liquid to deal with. Liquid are just all over the place and not quite ready for this aggression. They do now look up top to try and turn things onto the Spirit Breaker. Arrow comes in, holds back Quaitfer for now. Can Aramis get out of there? The Moonlight helping him out, but the Sunray continues to burn. Do they have detection for him? It doesn't even matter. Aramis is going to be able to charge back over to the creep wave, get himself away from the 3 of them. The same time on the mid lane, an additional fight continues as the arena's down. The setup will be there for Mickey to blow up Celery. They'll turn over towards Boom, but Shad's here. Make sure that Boxy and Mickey can't commit any further for Boom. So Liquid able to find a kill, but of course not necessarily a huge one.
But look at this.
What's happening? Viking keeping the score even there when it comes to action in the last minute. As they get another kill onto the Phoenix, they're now starting to grow to a 2K lead.
I love how this team is playing. No hesitation. They understand how their lineup is supposed to play. Jug's getting all this farm, but look at the way that Boom is playing. He showed mid, he got Mars ulted. No hesitation, TP's top finds a kill on Phoenix. They're not slowing down for these kills at all.
This should be an easy pick, or is it? They cancel the Fiend's Grip, doesn't matter. The burst is there to bring down Toby. They'll lose Insania for it. Viking, can they get more from this? They turn over towards Boxy. Boxy trying his best to juke away through the trees. Is it going to work? He's hiding, but they've got the vision on him. They've found him. The IO back out, but the vision there long enough for Aramis to go for the charge. Doesn't want to commit, though. Quakefor will be around to put that charge to an end with the Remnant, and TPs were coming in on the outpost.
Quick fighting moves, though. Immediately, as soon as Toby's getting gone out, no hesitation. The IO Tiny, they're paired up. They relocate top. Spirit Breaker joins the fray. Every single time, it seems like Viking, they're just bringing the numbers. Liquid is not prepared for this run-at-you lineup that's somehow swung this game so much from those last few moments. Look at this. Jug now has 1,600 over. I believe it's a full Manta plus more. Or he went for SNY. He's going to go for the disassemble build. But look at this Jug. 1,700 HP. He has his Pupil's Gift, drums SNY. And he's set up for success now.
And the balance from Shad as well between hitting the creeps and hitting the heroes, it couldn't be any better.
Perfect.
At 3, 1, and 5, you know, this Jug he's been getting involved. This is not an AFK Juggernaut. Shad's been keeping up with the tempo of his very aggressive teammates. I'm really getting involved, and it shows. The levels and farm for him very good for 18 minutes in.
Celery. Walk up versus Insania. Sentry versus Sentry. Neither of them confident to step out for it just yet. Looks like we have a little bit of a lull of downtime here for a moment before all the action's going to start kicking off again. So he bought the halberd piece now. I believe he has that finished up already on the Jug. So that is it's a really tough to kill Juggernaut already at this point. You were talking about the burst damage that comes down, in particular from Quakefor. They have more than enough HP on their core heroes now in order to tank versus most of it.
That's the thing. I feel the games where you really see Void Spirit suffer are those games where, you know, 20 minutes in, you're sort of asking yourself as the Void Spirit, who can he kill? You know, who does Quakefor go on and blow up? And at this point, with the heroes on Viking GG and these early items, it's none of them, right? Quakefor, he's always going to need that additional 1 or possibly 2 heroes to actually go on someone and take them out.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's too tanky at this point for him to do anything. IO has Mech, Spirit Breaker is Spirit Breaker with 1,700 HP with drums and Tranquil Boots. So, yeah, definitely tough for Quakefor to play around with this, just like pairing up with one hero and looking for kills. They actually just need to look for fights. Liquid is not about the pick-off draft.
Nice, quick and easy grab there for Viking.
Well, Viking is about the pick-off draft, right? We see that immediately. They can set up kills with 1 or 2 heroes quite easily. Yeah, Liquid has to start looking for some team fights pretty soon here with their lineup. Otherwise, I do see them start to fall behind. Every time they're splitting up, Viking is just on them. Look at this. Top immediately. Aramis, no hesitation.
See a little bit of time bought for himself there with the self-fuels, but there's the backup. Viking, they're just all here. They're just all here on top of Quakefor. I mean, they are just destroying the flow that Quakefor wants to get going as a Void Spirit. Boxy will go with the arena onto Boom. Has Tiger by him, but Boom, he's got a lot of teammates around. Aramis charges over to try and get in, but the Tiny will fall. Mickey turns into the Spirit Breaker, able to give Aramis a bit of a taste of his own medicine as he charges in upon him. As Liquid will manage to kick back at Viking, sticking around a little too long there, the two of them up top. Meanwhile, Shad and Celery getting to work on the bottom lane. This tower and creep wave will push Shad very close to having the completed Manta and Halberd.
Big boy here. Big Jug. That situation there, they get the Void Spirit kill, they stay a little bit too far forward. That's when Liquid can start to react. They finally have their Mars Phoenix. Phoenix now has Max Sunray, so there's the damage that we're looking for,
Let's see if they can get this Jug. This will be the big one. They need to stop Shad's
with
game.
The Fiend's Grip. They have no way to cancel it.
I do not. He's getting healed by the tether, and even with the 4 heroes going for him, Shad's just able to get out.
The arrow connects.
They're going to be able to bring down Tiger by the looks of it. Can they take him out before he can get the egg off? They can. And with the charge through from Aramis, straight through the 3 of them. Viking, they're fighting on, despite the fact that they've lost their eye. It doesn't matter. They're too strong at this point. Liquid cannot deal with them. Insania's out as well. And that was what? That was 4 heroes trying to go on Shad's Jug. They just couldn't do it. They brought him down to about half HP. Celery with some great positioning, just sort of swinging around the edge of the fight. They couldn't get the IO off the Jug. And even with the full lockdown of the full duration Fiend's Grip, they couldn't kill him.
Those heals, that mech. I think next time now we'll probably see Liquid put more focus onto Celery because of all that, but that's a painful one. They might be able to find Aramis here. They will.
Yeah, Shad not quite able to find the Omni Slash target that he'd hoped for. They're still
in the area.
Yeah, they could still take this Viking if they want to. And they're gonna back off. Shad very close to the Manta, so makes sense for them to focus on getting his next item complete.
Yeah, love this build up too. Manta into Scotty. He's playing versus Morphling. He's playing versus Phoenix Mars. I mean, it's just such a good I've Scotty game pickup if he's able to get that one next. Yeah, they're off to a real good start here after all this recovery. 18-12, 1K gold lead. Boom. Non-stop aggression. Look at this guy. 6-2 and 8. He's already on the prowl, kind of looking for another setup. Might just clear out the mid wave first, but
I mean, how would you sort of consider the status of the game in terms of being a game that Mickey is going to be able to take on his back and carries this more? At the moment, is there still a very good chance that Mickey will be able to do this?
Yes, I still think it's a last pick Morphling game versus like no silences, very limited disables, and very telltale spells, and he still has the heavy backup of his team. It still is a super solid game for Mickey as it does progress forward. Viking still needs to kick up that tempo, but if they can get a couple kills here, if they can keep these pickups, that's when they get a Roche, they get map control, and that can lead them to success versus this Morph. But yeah, Mickey is definitely the one to look out for still with the backup of his team.
Well, let's see what they can find here with the smoke straight over towards the river, charging onto Boxy. They've found the two of the Boxy and Insania grouped up together. They go in straight away with the Omni Slash, cutting them down. There's going to be a buyback from Insania who wants to try and get across and help the rest of his team because the rest of the three of Liquid, they're still around it. They'll turn, they'll be able to blow up the IO. The egg is going to get focused immediately as Boom picks up a triple kill. The stun, the bash is onto Mickey. Mickey is falling low, he's down. The crit comes through. Mickey is out. Insana, he's going to be ending up dying back in this fight as he's in the river, dead for a second time. Koifa jumps away to dissimulate. They've got vision. If they got a stun, they have.
They do.
Boom throws up the avalanche. Koifa still with the movement speed to get away. Has got another astral step to jump out. Boom. He's going to have blink up in a second again. Is he able to find Koifa? Avalanche up in a couple. Koifa turns with the heals, but the vision's already there for the charge to come in from Aramis. As in they go, flying across onto the Void Spirit. The high fives are offered up, but there's no response from Koifa as he's dead. And Viking, they're just so quick, they're everywhere. They've just killed off everybody. I think 6 heroes, technically, Insania twice. On top of that team wipe, they're instantly into Roshan. I mean, you give Viking any sort of chance to make a move, and they just take everything from you.
And so smart the way they did that. The smoke on a position where they secure the area, right? They put a ward, they put a sentry, they smoke, they go as a team, and they find the 2 perfect targets. I mean, ideally they would have found Phoenix Mars, but they found Mars and Bane, take them out before the fight starts. And then the egg is put in a position where Jug and Mirana are alive, so they just easily bring down that egg by themselves and hold their ground. Viking just making all the right moves. Liquid starting to fall out of control here now.
Yeah, and the timing.
That was the big fight. That was the big fight that Liquid needed to kind of come back in here for Mickey. Now 6K gold lead. Viking has so much freedom around the map now.
Yeah, and Shad's just massive. And
he's huge.
And Viking GG, they're so focused on every little aspect. Which is 25 minutes in, the runes come up. They pick 3 for themselves. They couldn't get to the one on the dire side, but that was okay because Shad, he still had his illusions there. He denied the bounty runes, so Liquid get nothing at the 25-minute mark. They lose Insania yet again. A 7K difference now. I mean, this is really starting to look quite hard for Liquid to slow down. The weight on Mickey's shoulders just getting ever heavier and greater. He's got so much work that he has to do to try and swing this one around, and it just seems so hard for him because Viking, they're just in his face. They're in everybody's face in each and every fight.
He feels alone is the biggest thing, right? Koifa has fallen off pretty heavily in the game.
I mean, look at this Tiny's KDA.
11-2 and 10.
11-2 and 10. He's 21 of the 25 kills. He has been in there.
Look at the 3 cores.
That's insane.
11-2-10, 5-1-13, 4-1-11. They're having the dream game.
And you got to remember, specifically Boom, you know, that lane, he was off to such a rough start in the lane matchup against Koifa. But the difference between his game and Koifa's is night and day. 11-2 and 10 on this mid-tiny compared to this 4-4-4 on Void Spirit. And that, you know, 4 head and a half. That's not a great... That's not what you want as a Void Spirit. That's not you've had a rough game.
Now things really started to snowball. And they just continue to keep this map control here. They take the top tower, they take the outpost very quickly. They're very decisive with their moves that I've noticed from Viking GG.
Toby has been caught out by Boxy. They're going to look to try and blow the Mirana. Aramis trying to charge him from the side, but the Arena holds him back. They've got the grip onto the Tiny here, but the BKB is already out. Boom. He's not taking any damage during this grip. Aramis comes charging across the three of them. The combo's in. The tether across. Insania tries to protect himself with the sleep, but Mickey, he's caught in the avalanche. Can he actually get out of this? He waveforms to the side, but Viking, they're just going to continue to chase, run them down into the Blade Fusion. Blade Fury on Blade Fury. Beyblade action here between Mickey and Shad. As Mickey has to spin his way out of this, but it's a dead Supernova. Each and every one of this game has just been unsuccessful from Tiger, and understandably so. Viking, they have such a great lineup for killing that egg. They also catch Boxy off to the side of this tier 2, and it really feels like Liquid, they've got to start going back to the drawing board on this game. I mean, they started off well in the lanes. They have a draft that could have been able to take this late for the Morph, but Viking GG from sort of 10 minutes onwards, they have just run over Liquid. Liquid have looked so shaken up this game.
I don't know what else I love seeing more than when a team, they play their strategy so well that they break the other team's strategy.
They've just broken them.
Liquid wants to fight. They get these big team fights, but look at the way Viking's playing it. They're not giving them the opportunities. It's always like, oh, 2 or 3 heroes of Liquid are set up here, and then they just 5-man them. Then again, 2 or 3 heroes, Viking 5-mans them before all Liquid is set up. Or they kill people before the fight starts. In the situation like Bottom River, where they got the Mars.
Arrow? Quaifa just stands in it.
Oh my god.
He doesn't even dodge it. He's got every ability up and a Yule Scepter. He has all the buttons, but he doesn't press any of them.
I think that might be it. I think Viking just broke Liquid completely in this one.
I think that broke Quaifa's keyboard.
Quaifa for sure.
Yes. Not a single button press there as Quaifa's out. A Quaifa just getting hit point blank by an arrow. That's when you know that this game has been a little too much for Liquid.
Just, I mean, snowballing out of control in its definition. Aramis just, honestly, I loved watching this guy Spirit Breaker, especially when he has a hero like Tiny with him. They have so much global potential, it feels. Just this movement, the mobility, charge into a Blink Tiny with a relocate on top, and then Shad's just there. Just every time, they always have the numbers. Liquid, they need some final hurrah.
Yeah, if they don't come out on top of this fight, it may just all be over for Liquid here in this game one. Boxy is going to lay down the arena, but Aramis and Shad, they're going to be happy to trap him with a Mickey with the turn into the Mirana form. Will use the arrow onto Shad. They'll be able to take him down the walls, but he's still got that Aegis. Aramis will fall. Boom him with the 3-man avalanche. The toss on a Boxy, bringing him low. Shad comes in with the Omni Slash, cuts down the two of them. Boxy and Quaifa out of the game alongside Tiger. There's a buyback on Boxy, but Quaifa and Tiger with no means to return to the fray. The Yule set up onto Mickey. The arrow, the stun control, it's there. Vessel down on the Mickey. He's going to try and morph his way back to the base. Boom, actually running into the fountain. The ball's nearly slapping Mickey out of the action, but he's into the fountain. He will live. Viking, though, more than enough space to take a second set of racks here. 30 minutes in.
Dire's top barracks has fallen.
I mean, there's just no way. Now the morphing is super countered with the Spirit Vessel, with the Scotty. He can't even shift very easy at all. Like, all these fights are just impossible. It really does start to feel like it. Mickey, he doesn't have backup of his team, and they're just, I mean, it really was snowballing out of control,
it was the perfect snowball. This lineup of Viking GG, I don't know who's necessarily the loudest out of the squad, who's making the majority of the shot calls, but whoever it is, these are some top-tier movements.
Calls. Yeah, agreed.
Every single move across the map and reaction to what Liquid's tried to do during this game, it's just always been won by Viking. They're always a step ahead in this match, and Liquid just seemed totally lost.
A step ahead and relentless is what I want to say. It's like, I didn't feel like them go back and farm, right? It never was a situation where it was like, okay, guys, let's chill. No, it was, we have Blink Tiny, we have Spirit Vessel Mirana, we have everything we need to just take over the game and fight every single time. Don't let Liquid actually get a 5-man unit. They never have.
And boom, he's just in with a BKB onto Mickey. Forcing him away. Tiger will be able to dive out of range of the arrow in time, but the charge down to Quaifa. Set up into the ultimate. They bounce Quaifa back into the arms of Boom as he tosses him up. Quaifa being well and truly shaken up here in this game one. Here's Void Spirit being thrown literally all over the place by Boom and his Tiny. Jump forward again, a combo onto Insania. Tiger, he's going to drop the egg. Toby's just going to come in with the BKB in the lead. He wants to take the Supernova down, and he won't be able to. The egg successful. They didn't quite get the last hit in time. The Sunray burning, Sailor down low. His Spirit Vessel is also slowly killing him off. They will find the IO. Boxy able to turn, get the Spirit onto Shab, pushing him away as well.
On Mickey.
With the shield crash, but deeper. Mickey Teammate is dead. He's gone for 75. They're going to tap out. They know that they cannot turn this one around at all. GG is called as Viking GG with this Game 1 performance. I mean, they just look like on a totally different level to Liquid. It almost looked like